Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Good morning, and welcome to you all to morning school. Welcome, welcome. As you already know our tradition, go ahead in the comment section and begin to share about yourself. If you have been part of morning school for a while, then you know what we do. So go ahead in the comment section or in the chat box, share your name, share what you do, run a business, your work, also share your location and your contact. That will be good. All right, go ahead and do that while we begin. It also helps me because when I am teaching in morning school, I like to use examples of businesses and the things that people do to communicate the ideas that I would like to communicate. So if you're joining in from here on Zoom or anywhere else, go ahead in the comment section or in the chat box and ensure that you do that. Share your name, what you do, your location. And also, like I always say, when we gather on morning school like this, you have no idea who is in the chat box that can partner with you or pay for your services, right? Good. So let us proceed. And many a times, anytime we are having another edition of the morning school, we always have new people. And sometimes I always like to give background information of how morning school started so that people are aware. For most people are following this from Cameroon, from Nigeria, and Ghana, and like 90% of participants in morning school are from African countries, and then about 10% or 15% from the Middle East, from North America, and so on. But the idea of morning school where we gather together and we do a teaching or a coaching session at 4 a.m. Cameroon time started about in 2020, moving into 2021. And it started with just my mentees because many of them were struggling with that consistency and self-discipline. And I learned that anybody who can master how to conquer their morning and conquer their bed and wake up and use the early hours of the morning to do something that will add value in their lives, that person will always become kind of very successful, right? So that is how the idea of morning school started. And we started meeting every morning at 4 a.m. And there was a season that we did a 30 days morning school. Until today, I still receive feedback and testimonies of the transformational impact of that 30 days program. Now, imagine waking up every day at 4 a.m. and going through. We were reading a book at that time. So we'll read a book and I'll do a short teaching on it every morning for 30 days. And we finish that book for 30 days. And for many people, they finished a book for the first time during that particular program, right? So, and we are going to do that again. There is a very powerful book that I read this year, and I would like us to do a book reading program again with that particular book. And it will change your life if you go through that book. So in one of our morning schools, we will do kind of like the same thing we did where we did a 30 days program, waking up, reading a book and sharing on that particular book. And it was transformational. Good. I'm happy to see that people are sharing what they do. Network in the chat box, network in the comment section as much as you can, and let us begin to collaborate and learn from each other. All right, like I said, every month I like to focus on a particular theme during our morning school. However, this morning school is kind of a continuation of what happened last week. So if you're here for the first time, what I will do is that after after this class, I will share in our community the link to the morning school for last month so that people can go through, because this morning school for this month is like a continuation of last month. Last month, we spent a lot of time focusing on how can people identify their monetizable skills and how can they package, that particular set of skill. And I wanted to focus now on the distribution of those skills. Like I always say, show me somebody who will be able to make some money in whatever they do. I will show you somebody who understands how to create value. That person understands how to package that value. That person understands how to monetize that value. And not only that, you understand how to mass commercialize that value. You understand how to distribute that value. There are many people that they are good at different things, but they don't understand the game of distribution. They don't understand the game of mass commercialization. So it's a whole process, right? You begin to understand, how can I, create this value? How can I package this value? How can I communicate this value? And that's what we handled a lot last week. And now this week, our focus is, how do we now mass distribute this value that you now know how to package, and of course, how to, convert it into something that you can monetize. And that's the focus of this week's morning school. So, but most of our time, we're going to talk about the digital space, right? Because it is what is more powerful in this generation at the moment. There was a generation that if you were on print media, you were able to mass distribute your value. And then there was a generation that if you were on radio, you were able to mass communicate and mass distribute your value. Then there was a generation that if you were on video, that's television, and television came and merged audio and video, you were able to mass distribute value. Now, with social media is combining, like, all the three or all the four, like video, audio, and text at the same time, right? So if we are talking about value creation, value packaging, if we're talking about value monetization, right? And we don't spend some time to talk about how do you mass distribute and mass commercialize that value, you are going to experience some limitations in truly, increasing the quality of your income or your wealth or your prosperity. Okay? So it is important to understand that. Now, so it is critical that we address this as we begin to go deeper on this, right? Now, one important thing about being able to create prosperity, being able to create wealth and increase your income, it is your ability to understand, how can I must distribute the value I now create. And for those who are here for the first time, this is like part two of part one. So I'll do my best to share the links to the part one we did last month, so you are able to follow up. But I'll be talking in a way that I assume that everybody is in the same space, okay, so that we can cover much more. So it is important to understand that the process to creating prosperity, the process to creating wealth and income is incomplete if you are not able to understand how to mass distribute and mass commercialize the value you have created. That for those who were here last month, we took time to go through that process of creating and packaging and monetizing that value. But now the core of this edition for this month is to look at how do you mass distribute and now, of course, mass commercialize the value that you have now created, right? And for the next 4 days, we're going to cover unique topics. And today, I want us to focus on how to show up boldly online, make money, and attract opportunities. Now, many people don't understand how to do this. Like I always say, more people on social media are noisemakers and popular people, and not people who understand how to drive influence and use that influence to create impact and to build income, right? And sometimes when we talk about monetizing your presence on social media, everybody just think that the only way to monetize your presence on social media is for you to post content and go viral so that social media platforms can pay you. And here's the funny thing that people don't know. Many people don't know that till so many years to come, just a small percentage of people on social media will ever make good amount of money that can make sense. And many people on social media who get to post that they are making money get to lie to get more algorithm to favor them and things like that, right? So, but it is designed in a way that only a very few top 1% or top 10% in their time can never make money on social media that makes sense in a way that platforms pay them. But when they talk about monetizing your presence, like which is the main theme for the next 4 days here in this community, it is not just about you creating content and then having Facebook to pay you, having Twitter to pay you. Let me ask you a question. You're a business person. Let's say you own Facebook. Can you pay 1 billion people every month? Will you create a system that you will happily pay 1 billion people every month? Will you do that? How will you now become a billionaire, right? So many people don't know that it's just a game, and I don't want to go into the deeper inside of that. But if you depend on ever making money on social media, on platforms paying you, that is a leeway to end up being very broke in life. Okay, because it's a whole game. I don't want to talk about that and begin to expose some things that is not good for the general public. But when we're talking about monetizing your presence on platforms, there are bigger ways and better sustainable ways to do that. And the next 4 days, I'll do my best to talk about that. But today, for this day one, the theme for this day one is how to show up boldly online, make money, and attract opportunities. You see, I have been doing a lot of coaching about social media and helping people to make the best of social media like since 2016, because I could see that this is going to become a major force like in the next 100 years. I used to talk about this a lot, right? And it's a major force. And in this digital age and digital space, if you are silent on online, hear me very well. If you are silent online, if you are silent as an entrepreneur, as a professional, the world will automatically assume that you have nothing to offer. Why? Because we are in a generation where people only agree and accept that you have something to offer when you show up. And that's why I'm starting this June edition of Morning School to talk about how to show up boldly online and make money and attract opportunities. Because in several coaching sessions, I'll work with people and design strategies and products and things like that. Then when I start talking about mass distribution, many people shy away from showing up boldly on the internet the right way, not the funny ways that everybody is trying to do it. You see, there's a way the lower class, the middle class, what you can call the masses, there's a way they show up online, which is not professional, it's not strategic, and they end up being exhausted, but they never cash out online. But there's a way to show up the right way, and you cannot even go viral, but yet you're making money because you're playing a bigger game and a more strategic game if you understand what you're doing, right? So it is important to understand this. And here's the fact: almost everyone in this age and time, in this generation right now, whether you are in an urban area, like this morning school has almost about 15 nations represented, different continents, right? Many people are from big cities and developed nations. Many people are from, Africa and so on and so forth. But if you are in an urban city and semi-urban area, what have you, and you have access to a mobile device that can connect to the internet, is good, but connecting is not enough. There are many people who are connected, but they are not leveraging. It is one thing to be connected, it is one thing to leverage, right? So it is important to understand that game. It's important to understand how to go about it, because knowing how to show up boldly and strategically online the right way is what gets you paid. Because in the marketplace, opportunities don't knock where they cannot see confidence and relevance. Let me say it again. In the marketplace, opportunities cannot knock at your door if the people who bring those opportunities, if they can't see the confidence and the relevance that you portray. Like I always fondly say, money doesn't flow where fear leads, right? And that's one major challenge for many people in this generation. They have so much to offer, but fear is still leading them. And that becomes a big challenge. So you can be skilled, you can be gifted, and you can even be anointed, like we say in the church setting, right? You can be gifted, you can be skilled, you can even be anointed. But if no one knows you, no one will pay you. I always fondly say that no matter how talented you are, if no one knows you, you will die a talented poor person, right? So understanding this concept is very, very important. So when I lead coaching sessions, one-on-one or group coaching sessions with different people, I always notice that many people are still afraid, or sometimes afraid and ignorant, or afraid and inadequate to show up online the right way. And here's the funny thing, because I like to follow trends due to the work I do, due to the strategies and things I do. So I like to understand market movements and dynamics. And I'm sure if you are very observant, you must have noticed this also. Have you noticed that in this age and time, the loudest people or the loudest person in your industry is often perceived as the most competent? Have you noticed that? And also, funny enough, the loudest gets to make the most money most of the times in some industries. Have you noticed that? Why is that? Why is that? Because we are in the attention economy. So the people that have mastered the art of being loud, right, get to cash out. Why? Because when you're too loud and consistently loud, people get to perceive that as competence. And now there are competent people who are not loud, or they are loud once a month or once in 6 months, and they don't show up again. But here's the sad thing: the attention economy will continue to grow more and more. It will continue to grow more and more. So it is important to, instead of ignoring it, you need to learn it. You need to adapt to it. It's very important, right? Because I strongly believe that If you are building anything in this generation right now, you're trying to build an international career, a national career, whatever, you're trying to build a non-profit, you're trying to build a startup, a business, whatever. I strongly believe, heavily believe, that in this time and in this age, digital silence is professional negligence. Okay? Your digital silence is professional negligence. Many people are professionally neglecting their growth and advancement because they don't understand what we are talking about. So it is dangerous for your career and for your business. And I'm not talking about, don't go and copy, you know, loud people who are chasing popularity. No, what I'm talking about, I'm driving towards industry influence. That's what I'm talking about. There's a big difference, okay? So you can be consistent, but you are just popular and you can never cash out from popularity consistently. You can cash out once in a while, but you cannot do it consistently, right? So if you are quiet online in a noisy age that we are, you are not just going to undermarket yourself, you will also be underutilized by a generation. Let me say it again. If you are quiet, as far as your online is concerned, you will not only be undermarketed, but you are underutilized. And when you're underutilized, you're always underpaid. As simple as that. You see, so one thing I want to achieve in this day one of this morning school, where we're talking about monetizing your presence, is I want to challenge everybody who is a member of this community to consistently challenge yourself, push yourself to learn how to show up online boldly and professionally in your industry. In your industry. It's very important. It's very important. Because if you're quiet in this economy that is driven by attention, you will be undermarketed, you will be underutilized, and you'll be underpaid. And then you wonder, why can't I produce more results like people in my age group? Why can't I take advantage of this blessed generation? Because this generation, even though it has so many of its own problems, like every generation, it is more blessed now. Like I always say, it is much easier now to be a millionaire than it used to be 50 years ago, 100 years ago in any country. If you just know what to do and begin to pay the price and go through the process, right? And it's very important to understand that. So, what I'm also saying today is that if you are in this morning school right now and you are serious about building something that will live beyond you, silence is not an option. Okay? You need to understand how to begin to merge attention as a critical asset to what you are doing. Okay? So, and the challenge is that if you don't define your digital presence as a professional, as an entrepreneur, as a social enterprise or NGO owner, someone else's noise would define your presence for you. And what they would define for you is that you will become irrelevant in your industry. Right? I read a quote some time ago and I said that noise will always win over intelligence if intelligence stays silent. Noise will always win over intelligence if intelligence stays silent. That's a sad reality happening for many people in this generation. Because many people have not come to realize that we have moved from product economy to attention economy or perception economy. Many people don't know that yet. We have moved. We have moved from just product economy alone to now attention economy. That's why if you're somebody who follow like global CEOs, you'll notice that they invest a lot in making sure that they project themselves out there and create content talking about their days and what they're doing and so on. You know why? Because those top CEOs, they know that the economy 25 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, it's not the same. It has moved. It has moved. If you're building on the product and you don't understand that, hey, I am not just in the product economy, I have also entered the perception economy. I have also entered the attention economy. It's very important. You see, and I was talking to a friend the other day and I said that um, there's this popular quote about judging a book by its cover. The quote has never been more relevant like in this generation. This is a generation where many people will judge books by the cover. Why? Because it's a perception economy. It's an attention-driven economy. Never forget that. You see, because we're in a generation where perceived value of your ideas, the perceived value of your products online will often determine your revenue. That's a fact. The right perceived value your ideas have now on the internet, it will always affect your revenue. Always. Why? Because it's the perception economy, it's the attention economy. So you have to understand that. You see? So I was talking to a mentee the other time. I said, look, silence online is not humility. Many people need to repent from this. Silence on the internet about the work you do as a professional, as an entrepreneur, is not humility. It is mismanagement of the opportunity to be relevant. Silence in this age, especially on your digital space, is not humility. You are a good example of a professional and an entrepreneur mismanaging the opportunity to be relevant in his or her generation. That is what is happening. Many of you in this morning school needs to repent from what I'm talking about, right? If you need to repent, type repent in the chat box. Type repent in the chat box. You see, I have so many customers who need to repent from this. So many customers, so many of them, right? Look at the number. And then these same people, if you start looking at, if you start talking to them, they'll tell you how I have no career opportunities, or my business is not making money, or they'll give so many things that they cannot, they don't have, because you have not positioned yourself to attract these things. You have not, right? Because you are still running your career and your business as if you were in the industrial age, as if you were in the product economy. You have not come to the realization and revelation that, hey, I am in the perception economy. I am in the perception economy. I am in the attention driven economy. That is the challenge for many people. You see? And that's why I was talking to one of my mentees, I told him, hey, in this age, in 2025 and beyond, silence on your digital space is not humility. It is the mismanagement of the opportunity you have to be relevant. Many people have not come to realize how or the power of the right message on the right platform in the right format at the right time can change their life forever. Let me say it again. Many people have not come to realize how the power of the right message on the right platform in the right format to the right people at the right time can change your business and your career forever. Many people have no idea. There was something that happened a few years ago. I made a post. It had just about 2 likes or so. I never forget that post. But because of that post, I was hired to go speak in a country because of one person who saw that post. You see, that's what I was saying, that the perspective and the insight I'm going to share in the next few days is not for people who are chasing likes and comments. No, that's for popularity. And people like that always die out after 5 days, because anything that skyrockets around popularity hardly exceed 5 days. Something else will rise and replace what you did. You see? And that's why you need to shift into what we're talking about. So you're consistently relevant to the right people on the right platform in your industry. Okay? So that was just introduction. Now let me share with you 7 action steps that you can take to show up online boldly as a professional entrepreneur, and of course, in whatever that you do. Because if you really, as I said, one of my goals on this day one is to challenge. Look at the number of people that have been inadequate in what we're talking about. A good number of people, right? So one of my goals today is I want to challenge everybody to show up online boldly the right way in your industry after this. Because the other 3 topics I will share in the next 4 days or so, if you're able to do this, those strategies now will now help you. And of course, as we said, last month we spoke about value creation, value packaging, value monetization, and so on. But we said that that model, that framework is incomplete if you don't understand value mass distribution and value mass commercialization. And how can you mass distribute and mass commercialize in this generation at a time like this if you don't understand, or you don't even have the heart and the boldness to show up online boldly the right way and attract opportunities and the clients that you're looking for? Okay, so with these 7 action steps that I'll share with you on what to start doing today to start showing up, if you practice it consistently, you'll be amazed at the quality of results that you will get in what you do in your industry. Okay, number one. Now, before I get to number one, for many people indicated, a good number of people indicated that they need to repent from not showing up online boldly or being afraid to show up online boldly and all of that. Now, go ahead in the chat box and write 1 or 2 reasons why you have not been showing up online boldly. Go ahead. You're watching here on Zoom and on YouTube. Go ahead. Facebook. Go ahead. Let me see something. Go ahead. Why have you not? Okay, shy. I expected to see that. Somebody says she is shy. You see, you have chosen shyness over your destiny. Oh, Lord have mercy. Lord mercy. You have chosen shyness over your destiny. Inability to create compelling content. Okay. Somebody said introverted. Okay. I always fondly say that introvert, the word introvert was grammar packaged by some people who created the language called English to destroy your destiny. Right? Okay, fear of not doing it right. You see, so many reasons. All right. All right. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Majority is shyness and fear. Right? Okay. Good. Good. So many people. All right. After this session, everybody should, all these ideas should die down and you go and reshape your destiny. Because if you know how much you are losing economically, financially, you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed. Like in short, you will pay the price to be good at this. You'll pay the price to be good at this. I think I was being interviewed last time, the other time that I was in the United States for something, and I was being interviewed on Voice of America or something like that, and they asked me a question. They've asked me this question like on different international media platforms. I think even yesterday during when I was being interviewed on Radio Africa in South Africa, and they, I always have to share this, and they asked me this question: How did you? Because I always share proudly that I was, I'm from Kumbo. I described the place and all of that, and the journalists are always intrigued. They always like to ask, so how did you leave Kumbo to do the things you do now around the world? And I always say fondly that three things helped me. Number one, God. Number two, commitment and hard work. Number three, social media, right? And there is no way I can write my story without social media because when I started gathering young people in Kumu in 2011 to 2012 and talking about it, I used to just share on Facebook. And by then, many of these other platforms were not as popular as they are today, you see. And I mean, for those who are watching from Europe and America, I'm talking popularity in terms of Africa, okay? In terms of social media penetration and mobile phone penetration at that time, it was not that popular as it is today, all right? But due to the consistent sharing, I started getting kind of invitations and networks opportunities and things like that. And like all the nations I've traveled to across four continents and so on, 20 nations plus, 99% I don't know the people. Many of us, many of the relationships or business deals, they were sealed on the internet, Facebook, uh, 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 um, primarily Facebook and LinkedIn, these two platforms primarily. And then, okay, fine, let's do it. Here's a flight ticket. Go get your visa here, do this, call this person, see you, let's get it done. As simple as that, right? So, like I was saying, if you know how much it is costing you, how much it is costing your destiny in a generation like this, every excuse you have now will die out. It will die out, like absolutely die out. If you know how much it is costing your destiny and the career you run, the business you're trying to build, you will naturally, you know, kill that excuse and challenge yourself. I am going to pay the price to get this right. Not perfect. Nobody is perfect on social media, trust me. Many people are just also doing guesswork. Sometimes it works, it doesn't work, right? But the goal is we keep going. It's part of the leverage platform. Because it doesn't work today, it doesn't mean that we are going to stop using it. No, forward is forward, right? All right. 7 action steps that if you take, you begin to show up online boldly the right way as a professional in your industry and attract opportunities and start making money. Number one, learn as much as you can. Some people will say, oh, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how this works and that works and this works and that works. No, we are in a generation where you have no excuse not to know certain things. Absolutely no excuse. Because there are so many free courses like on YouTube that you can just go click and type how to post on social media. Like somebody said here, I don't know when to post. Okay, go on YouTube, go and type when is the best time to post on social media if I am in Cameroon or if I am in Africa. You will find a video explaining it. If you have AI platforms working, fine, go there at ChatGPT. He will tell you or she will tell you. I don't know what I say, she or he now, right? But you have to pay the price. You see, pay the price to unlearn, relearn, and begin to learn. Because there are things that you don't need a formal classroom to learn it. No, you don't need it. You need to be an independent learner and a thinker. You see, if you are not comfortable at challenging yourself to unlearn and to relearn and to keep on learning, there are many things that you will fall behind in your industry, and they will negatively affect how much you can rise and how much you can grow. Okay. Number two, which I want to spend some time, right? Number two, Stop waiting to feel ready. And it's like for many of you that shared your challenges here, this is where many of you fall. Many of you want to feel ready before posting, before stepping out to leverage these platforms that can advance what you're building, right? You see, there is no entrepreneur that ever built something great that started ready. None. None. You need to be comfortable at starting imperfect and perfecting your strategies, your resources, and many things in process. Like I was talking about when I started using social media in 2011 to 2012 in Kumbu at the time, my phone was terrible, right? I was not good at writing like I write now. And trust me, 10 years to come, my writing will be better than how it is today. Why? Because the human nature is designed that the more you do something, the more you become better at it. The human nature is not designed for perfection. That is why when you look at the car industry, you look at laptop industry, you look at software industries. They always have new editions of new products like every year. Why? Because there is no perfect product. If if everything was perfect, there is no need for life. One thing that gives life value and makes life give life some meaning is imperfection. You see, your imperfections I give to you. It makes life more interesting and gives you opportunity for growth. You see, I used to repair computers after high school. I could not go to university immediately, so I used to repair computers, right? And at that time in 2010, 11, and 12, and so on, we if I call it, many people may not know. We had things like Windows XP, or we had Microsoft Word 2003, 97, and things like that. Those things today, they don't exist. Look at how far operating systems have developed and they have grown. You see, if you keep waiting to feel ready before you start showing up boldly, trust me, you will never achieve anything that makes sense. And that is how much time you're losing. So you need to make up your mind right now to start showing up while becoming. It is one of the best things you can do. And this is one major threat that makes a good entrepreneur. You make up your mind, I will start showing up while I become in the process. There is nobody who becomes before showing up. You will never achieve anything. Everybody started imperfect. Everybody started as an amateur at some level, right? So make up your mind. Like many of you gave complaints of this and that and this and that and this and that. Shift the perspective right now. How can you start showing up while becoming in the process? That's the game. You see? Because many people sometimes assume that for some people, this may be true, but it's a two-sided point. But let me share with you. Many people often assume that they are stuck in life or they are struggling in life financially because they lack value to give out. For some people, that is the point. That is the challenge. But for some people, they are stuck in life, they are stuck in career, stuck in business, stuck in financial growth because they are chasing imperfection so much that they become inactive. Because you can chase perfection so much that you never take action that can change your life or advance a career building. And I always tell people, look, confidence is not a feeling, it's a decision. Like somebody, like when I'm talking to somebody, I say, I did not feel confident to do that. I'm like, if you truly know what confidence is not a feeling, it's a decision. You can decide now to be confident if you want to. It's not a feeling. Like, you know, I don't feel confident doing it. No, it's a decision. You decided to choose not to move. It's not a feeling. Confidence is a decision. You see, you have to make the decision that I would choose to build it the right way as far as what I'm doing is concerned. You see, so what I'm saying is you have to decide today to be visible and then keep becoming in the process. It's a decision. Because if we don't get this perspective of showing up online boldly on the right platforms in the right way, strategically and as professionals, it will keep costing you so much. It will keep costing you so much. So decide to be visible and decide to keep becoming in the process. See, one of my beliefs in this generation is that in this attention economy, in this perception driven economy, you see, proof of thought will always precede proof of work, right? That means what you don't say is costing you more influence than income. What you are not saying, right? So it's a generation that your ability to communicate your thoughts behind the work you are doing is becoming more powerful than the work you're doing. That's why I said earlier on that we have shifted from product driven economy to perception driven economy. You see, we have shifted in that lane. So you need to be part of this economy at this rate. If not, you will have so much, but you cannot cash out from it. Number three, define what bold means for you. Then do it consistently. As I said, I'm talking today on how to show up boldly online. Now, what does that bold means to you? Define what showing up boldly means to you, not to social media influencers you follow. Don't decide your boldness based on the social media influencers you follow. You can follow them and learn from their strategies if you wish to, but define your boldness based on your industry, based on what you're building, and based on what you want to achieve. And then commit to doing it consistently. You see, like I always fondly say, being bold on social media doesn't mean posting half naked pictures on social media, right? It doesn't mean posting funny things to trend at all costs. No, that never leads to influence. You see, for example, if you're, let's say you're a lady and you post, the underset of pictures that can get you more likes, and it becomes an addiction. I read a story like that where a girl got addicted and started taking hard drugs because her only post, her only kind of pictures that would get her more likes and more comments are, half naked pictures or almost naked pictures and in funny style. So she had to keep on driving that feeling to be more creative in posting in that light to get the kind of likes and comments that she wants. She ended up being so exhausted, and then she started taking hard drugs just to keep up with that level of desire for attention. You see, and that's the challenge because she she was chasing popularity and not influence. When you're a person of influence, trust me, likes will never move you. The amount of comments will never move you. Because when you're posting, you're sure that, look, even the right people will see it. And that's fine. You see? So, being, like I said, define what being bold means to you regarding your industry, regarding what you're building, and regarding who you're targeting with what you're posting. You see? Because everybody, when they're posting, trust me, you must have a perfect kind of person you are targeting. And that makes your posting to become better and more strategic and to drive influence and not popularity. You see? Because if you're posting, let's say, half naked pictures on social media and you're posting funny things at all costs to chase the likes and the vanity stuff, that does not lead to influence. It leads to popularity that will always fade out in maximum 7 days. Why? Because another mass thinking person, another person who falls within the masses. And have you noticed that people who chase things like this, who post a half naked picture and things like that, are mostly people, in the lower class, middle class, or what they call the masses, right? So you do things like that, in after 5 days, your own will fade away, and your colleague from another lower class level of society will post the same thing, and you start feeling jealous. You will go try to create another innovative way to beat that part. And that's how you live, and you never become a creator and an influencer that really influences an industry, a generation, and becomes a contributor. So if you are deciding what being bold to you means, you have to start considering that one thing that makes you bold on digital spaces is having clear value to communicate. What is the clear value you are communicating? Anytime you take your laptop, your phone to post something, what is the central core value that you communicate? Like I always say, if somebody can spend 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes on your timeline and read your top 10, 15, 20 posts on any timeline, and they cannot begin to zero down to the kind of value you create and contribute, there is something wrong with the kind of digital footprints that you are creating. And that's why you cannot also attract opportunities and, of course, make money. You see, sometimes somebody booked me to come speak at an event, and they said, after we spent some time on your LinkedIn and on Facebook, we came to the agreement that you are the person we need for this event. You see, and that's why you cannot just post nonsense, because you never know who's checking you out. You have no idea. You see, it's very important to understand that. So when you're communicating, is it clear? Is it direct? Is it engaging? Can people tell what you do? That is boldness. You see, can people tell what you do? That is boldness. When you make your post on different platforms, do your posts carry that conviction and the applicable insights that you are sharing as a professional in your industry? That is boldness. When you have an offer to communicate, are you promoting an event? Are you promoting a product? Whatever. When you're promoting that offer, is the offer clear and visible that anybody, when they see it and they read it, they understand it? That is boldness. That is boldness in a strategic way. So define what boldness means for you and do it consistently. So for those of you in this community right now, the assignment I'm giving you right now is go and check, for those who have been consistent on social media platforms, right? Go and check if what you have been communicating the last few weeks and last few months, have you been communicating in a clear, direct, and engaging way as far as your industry is concerned? Number two, if someone spends 5 minutes, 10 minutes reading your first 10 posts and 15 posts, can they tell what you do without being confused? That is boldness. Go and read your last 5 posts or 10 posts or whatever. Do they carry some level of conviction and applicable insight as a professional in your industry? That is boldness. Go read that post that you shared talking about either promoting an event, a product, a service, an offer, whatever that you're promoting that you need somebody to indicate interest. Go and check. Was that offer clear and visible enough for people to understand? That is boldness. You see, these are foundational strategic things that if people understand in this generation, it will cause a major shift in whatever they're doing. Because we are in a dispensation where social media platforms are no longer a nice to have, they're a must have. Like I always fondly say, in secondary school, we read a book by Adam Smith, What's the title again? Is it the Economy of Nations? Can anybody remember that book? In Africa, many people read that book by Adam Smith, right? In that book, he spoke about the factors of production: land, labor, capital, entrepreneur, and things like that. And I always fondly say that if you bring Adam Smith from the 18th century to come back in this century and write that book again, he will add social media as an asset, as one of the major factors of production. Why? Because anything that can help you make more money is important in that list. There are people right now that if like I've done it many times, I have provided coaching to people that they come to and they say, look, this is what I have in mind, but I don't know how to make money from it. And I just analyze what they have in their mind. We build an offer, services, and all of that. They use under their phone, communicate well on social media platforms, and get their first clients, get paid without buying any extra equipment. Right? That's how powerful it is. Because 50 years ago, if you wanted to promote a product to reach more people, you will either get into a church, into a school, into a social event, or you will have to pay a lot on traditional advertisement at the time to get the people. But now, in 6 hours, you can be able to reach 500 to 1,000, even more people. The same number of people that you can reach on social media in 6 hours. If you get somebody from 50 years ago, they may need 1 month to reach those kind of people regarding what they were selling. Okay. Number three, number four. Is it number four? Number four, number three. Let me see if you're following. Indicate in the chat box. Are we in point four or point three? Let's go, people, on Zoom and YouTube. Point four. Okay. And I saw a few people indicate, and this will solve your problem. Please, if you will, I said this slightly a few minutes ago, but let me zero down on this right now. If you will make good use of the digital space as a professional, please, when it comes to any digital space, if you are somebody who's after influence and impact, lead with value, not vanity. People who are after popularity, they lead with vanity. People who are after influence and impact that can last, they lead with value. They lead with value. You and how do you lead with value? Let me focus on that. How do you lead with value? How do you do that? You see, if you are going to lead with value, that means the way you show up on the internet. If you are going to lead with value, I have discovered some basic things that if you start doing consistently, you'll be the person that leads with value, and vanity will not be important to you that much. Please, let me tell you something. If you are a professional, you're not a slave queen, you're not a one confused boy somewhere just trying to, impress people and claim that he or she is doing well in life. If you are truly a professional, you're truly a disruptor in your industry, and that's what you want to do and achieve and be a contributor. If you understand how to lead with value, trust me, the day you make a post and have 0 likes, you will not feel bad about it. Because you did not make the post to lead with vanity. No. If you are making a post to lead with value, the day you have minimal likes or 0 likes is fine. The day you also have 1,000 likes, it should not swell your head that you're doing well. Okay? So lead with value and stop leading with vanity. Like I've heard people say, like I was doing a coaching a few days ago, the lady in the United States, and she said, I stopped posting because my posts used to have very few likes. I'm like, what? You stop using something that is a critical part of your destiny because you did not get likes. There's something you don't understand. There's something missing in your brain about this discussion. Let me educate you a bit. That's what I was telling her. Sit down, let me talk to you a bit. You're missing the whole point. You're missing the whole point. You're absolutely missing the whole point. You need to get it right. So, how do you lead with value on digital platforms and stop leading with vanity? Number one, when you're creating a post, when you're creating any content on social media, remember you're a professional. You are not a whatever. You're a professional in your industry, right? So when you're creating any form of content, drive yourself to speak to or to speak about the problems you can solve as a professional in an industry. Number one, that's how to lead with value. When you're creating any form of content, it could even be content that is funny, but you have a way to weave in some value that can solve somebody's perspective. So to lead with value and stop chasing vanity. When you want to push anything on the internet under your profile as a professional, speak to or speak about the problems you can solve. Number two, you can see a problem. Like sometimes I have created posts on social media where I under somebody's comment section, I see a comment, I see a complaint, or I see a problem. I take that problem, I spend time, and I write a solution to that problem, and I post it on social media. What does that mean? You offer solutions. If you're pushing content out there, offer a solution through that content. Number three, how do you lead with value? Share results you can create. Very powerful. Learn how to share results that you can create. You see, making a post around something like, you see, if you're somebody of this age group or having this particular type of problem, I have what it takes to produce the following result for you in the within the next few days or next 1 month or whatever. But how can you find a way to begin to share results that you can create? You see, and let me tell you, these are the kind of things that get you paid, attracts opportunity. You see, how do you lead with value? Teach lessons to your target market, right? From your industry perspective, from what you do perspective, teach lessons. And we begin to do this with this mentality and perception of leading with value, you will now let your content build industry trust. And let me tell you something. One of the most important assets is industry trust. Because with industry trust, institutions, both corporate, government, nonprofit, whatever, they can hire you or partner with you because you have consistently developed industry trust that they can effortlessly partner with you. So, under this point of leading with value and not leading for the sake of vanity, anytime that you're posting content on the internet, every piece of your content should carry some form of conviction, should drive credibility, and should also drive what I like to call commercial leverage. Because there's a way you can create content that you are not selling anything inside, but it still carry commercial leverage. Where somebody can read and say that, the way he sounds, the way she sounds, someday I can pay her to do this for me. That content carries commercial leverage in it. Okay. Number four, what is the fourth way? The fifth way, not number four. The fifth way that you can show up online boldly as a professional in your industry. Show proof that you are not guessing. Show proof that you are not guessing. Now, Many of you, like mostly here in the Zoom section, and I think on YouTube, many people did that, where I was asking people, write your name, your location, and what you do, and add your contacts. Many of you have produced some form of result, and that is a powerful way to show up online boldly and begin to attract the opportunities and the partners that you need or the clients that you need. Why? Because it has been proven over and over that results create reputation in the marketplace. And like I always fondly say, there are some opportunities that individuals and corporates will only give to experts who have developed the reputation capital to make good use of that platform. So the results that you have created in what you do so far in the last 5 years, 10 years, or 2 years, or whatever, you can use those results and begin to show proof of what you talk about. That look, I don't guess, I am not guessing. No, I am showing you that this is what I can do because I have done this to these people or to myself. So basically, if you have helped anyone, share the story. You must not share everything, but share the story. Do you have a testimonial of the impact of your value? Talk about it. Get a screenshot if you can. If you have solved a problem for yourself, break down the process and share how you did it. That is you showing proof that as a professional in your industry, you don't guess. You don't guess, right? If because when you begin to study how the marketplace works, you understand that impact always speak louder. And for you as a person, your impact speaks louder than your fears. You see, there are many of you that you are afraid, like many of you indicated, a good number indicated and shared many reasons why they don't show up online at all, or they show up online in an inconsistent manner. But you have a body of results that you have created. If you truly analyze those results, package them, and document them, your your boldness will increase. Why? Because it has proven that your impact always speak louder than your fears. You see that now? I was talking to somebody who owns an NGO in a strategy session, and I told her that after I analyzed everything, and I said, do you know that if they can't find you, they cannot fund you? That's what I was telling her. If they cannot find you, they cannot fund you. Like, how can you be running an NGO and you say you're serious and that NGO doesn't have a good website or a good, you know, a good visible, how did I say this thing? There are platforms that if your NGO is registered, you go register your NGO on those platforms for free. Because those platforms, when anybody sees your NGO on that platform, they begin to see it as a credible institution. Directories, NGO directories, that's the name I was looking for. NGO directories, right? So I was telling her that you are complaining that you don't have funders and donors. See, not knowing how to write grants is another thing, right? Not knowing how to do certain things is another thing. But if you are not findable, you are not fundable. Same as you have meetings with people who are writing business plans and things like that. I'll be like, hey, where's your marketing budget? Where's your sales budget? They're like, I didn't think about it. I'm like, so how will you get customers, my dear? Will you fast and pray for customers? Right? So you begin to wonder now, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Right? So if they cannot find you, they cannot fund you. They cannot pay you. So clients, partners, platforms, they always start with a search bar. See, this I always think, look, and that's the truth. That's the truth. Let me tell you something, an experience. I was to travel out of the country to a country one time, and I was doing a visa interview with the consular officer. And he said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to speak in a conference in your country and help you." That's how I speak to him in embassies. I make them say that I am the one coming to bless your country, right? I'm going to speak in an event in your country to help your businesses become more profitable and help you guys provide more jobs to your people. I would say you are people. It's a powerful mindset. It makes them see you as, uh, they were happy that, oh, really? Nice. And that guy just turned and just went to the search bar and just searched my name. Oh, say, nice. I've seen your videos on YouTube. Have a nice trip. That was the interview done. Gave me a very long stay. That visa has not expired till today. I think it's 2027. Right? So, and I did only 3 days in the country. So it is, so what am I saying? We're in a generation where clients, partners, platform holders, what have you, they always start with a search bar. You're having a discussion. The first thing is, let me check this person out, right? If your digital footprint doesn't speak before you do, you will keep losing opportunities. Let me say it again. If your online footprint doesn't speak before you start talking with your mouth, you will always lose opportunities in this generation. For many of you that you run organizations and different things, let me give you a challenge. Go on Google right now, type your name separately, type the name of your organization separately. What do you find? What you find is the same thing that other potential partners, clients, platform holders, institutions, what have you, that is the same thing that they will find. So the question is, will what they with what they're going to find, will it speak for you before you open your mouth to start speaking? You see that? It's very important, right? Number 6, what is the 6th thing that you need to do in order to show up boldly online as a professional in your industry? I really want to lay this foundation on day 1 so well, because day 2, day 3, day 4 of this program, I'll be teaching, when I start talking really about real mass distribution and mass commercialization of what you do, if you don't have this, every other thing will still not make sense to you because you will still not use it. That's the challenge. You will still not use it. And you will still remain the same after all these days of waking up at 4 a.m. for morning school. But I hope that will not be the case, right? Number 6, you see, we're in a generation where stories sell a lot. Make one part of your story public as much as you can. Now, this is more powerful in this generation because, you see, we're in a generation where it is much easier to create. Like anybody can write right now and sound intelligent, right? Because of all these AI apps and platforms that you can go and describe in 10 words. I want an article that talks like this. Boom, it creates a 1,300 words or 100 words article, and then you can post it on social media. Everybody can write. That's why smart people, like I was advising somebody, I said, like I was talking to somebody, and I'm seeing that happening a lot. I'm like, you people are not thinking. It is no longer 50 years ago, 20 years ago, it used to be very exciting to be proud that I have published 15 and 30 books or 100 books. Why? Because that time, if somebody says they have published a book trust me, they'll spend time to write it. But now somebody can write 10 books in a day with different AI platforms, right? So I was telling someone, I said, look, for people at the top, they no longer, because due to my work, I get to have insights to people at the top very much, right? So I said, look, people at the top, they're no longer moved by things like that because they know that, come on, they know that any Tom and Jerry now can write a good book and pay a ghostwriter to edit it and push it on the internet. You see, writing of books will keep decreasing in value because creating text content is much easier now. You see, but one thing that will keep increasing in value is the ability to show up online like this and teach. Because there are more AI platforms right now that are also using, creating videos and all of that. People can still detect that this is a fake kind of just an AI video, right? So people who are more humanized and can do things in real time as real humans per se, things that they can do in that light will keep gaining more value as AI is growing more powerful, right? Why did I say that? I said to validate this point on make one part of your story public because true stories, real life events, things that you have done practically move people more than trying to show that you are perfect. People know that nobody's perfect. I know I'm not perfect. So I know there's no human being that is perfect, right? So it has been proven that I was reading a research and then I had to document this strategy, and it has proven that real stories of how you're building stuff or the failures you have recorded in what you're building move people more to trust you more than trying to show that you're a perfect builder or a perfect professional, right? And that research, it proved that in this generation, people don't buy from perfect people anymore. They buy from people who have been through something and made it work. They buy from process now. That's why if you know how to communicate your process, you move more people more than somebody who appears out of nowhere and claims to be perfect. Because people also buy the stories, people buy the process, right? So if you have struggled with something, it is important to understand, can you be able to communicate? How did you start this process? What kind of challenges did you face? How did it hold you back? And how did you end up still getting results despite these challenges? See, it's what I call strategic vulnerability. And I use the word strategic because don't just go and share everything on social media. No, practice information diet, right? So master strategic vulnerability. As a builder, there are things, as somebody who is creating impact in your generation, there are things that when you begin to communicate, I'm telling you, others will respect you and celebrate you and honor you for the process and the story than even the final outcome. You see, it's more powerful. It has been proven, it's a whole research body that was done by a marketing agency. And I truly agree with it. You see, so it is important to understand that strategic vulnerability builds that visibility and that trust that, look, this person is not fake. If you have watched, the Prophet Suddenly movie, right? This person is not just sudden. This person is not trying to sell something that they just want to get money at all costs. No, this person is a true builder. This person has gone through the process. And people like to partner and buy from people like that. Right? Get that perspective, see how to adapt it to what you're doing right now, and you will have so much to give. And let me give you a cheat code. When you are talking, for those of you that like to talk to funders, because I did a lot in that space where people come, where sometimes some investors ask me to join their committee meetings to listen to entrepreneurs and NGO owners and things like that. Let me give you a tip. Listen carefully. If you're here, you run an institution, you're an NGO, a startup, whatever, anytime you're talking to an organization, you're talking to an individual that you want to get money from, let me tell you something. They don't like people who claim to be perfect. They don't like people who claim as if they have everything sorted out. They have never failed. They have not made any mistake in life. No. I know a particular investor that he doesn't invest in an entrepreneur that has never lost at least 10 million in business in a business deal. That's one of his laws. He says, I cannot invest in anybody who has never lost at least 10 million in a business deal. Because he says their heart is not strong yet. They're still babies. And it's true. It's true, right? So when you're talking to somebody, and let me tell, like I always say, look, relationships are more spiritual than physical, especially when you're dealing with somebody who is ahead of you. Let's say more wealthy than you, more influential than you. When it comes to status in the society, that person is higher than you. You see, it's not just about you talking. If you don't have the kind of mindset and character and your voice command that balance the frequency, that relationship never lasts. For example, if you are here and you have ever had somebody's number who is influential and rich, and that relationship never maximized to anything important, type me in the chat box. We have all experienced that, right? Where somebody you came in contact with maybe somebody who is, rich, wealthy, influential, something like that, but that relationship never led to anything that makes sense because you are dealing just with a physical perspective. You forgot that relationships at that level, there need to be a spiritual frequency alignment. Trust me. And that frequency is determined by what is the kind of character that you have. What is the kind of mindset that you have? What is the kind of voice command or the kind of things? How do you communicate with them? It either makes that relationship to grow or to die a natural death. And people at that level, they're very busy and they understand what they're looking for when they want to relate with people who they want to work with. So, like I was saying, if you ever come in a place where you are speaking to people that you need some partnership in terms of that will lead to funding or investment and all of that, apart from making sure that you have the right mindset when you're talking to them and you have the right voice command, always find a way, always find a way to talk about three things because they use these three things to rate true builders and people they can trust with money. These three things. Always tell them how you started small. Always have a well-tailored story to tell them this is how I started small with limited resources, but I started. Number one. Number two, always tell them what held you back. What major roadblock did you face? And how did you overcome it? Number three, clearly communicate one of your best results so far and how you got the results. Clearly communicate your best results so far and how you got the results. If you can communicate, it, you will always hit something in their heart, in their mind, that will be powerful. Okay? Number 7, don't post like an amateur. Don't post like an amateur. Even if you're starting, don't post like an amateur. Let me explain. I've come across many, sometimes I like to do this a lot because I use it for my research and data. When somebody follows me or send me a friend request, a connection request, I like to check their profile when I have the time. I just check to see. And sometimes when I check, I see, things that they have not done well and things like that. Not to tell them sometimes, just to gather my data and use for my trainings like this, right? So How do amateurs post? Or let me give you an example of a profile on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, what have you, that is an amateur, you know, profile that limits your ability to get opportunities and things like that. Number one, it doesn't have a pinned signature post, a signature post that somebody can read, either know you better or know the kind of value you bring and know how to contact you. Then you are posting like an amateur. Do you have a signature pinned post on platforms that have pinned or featured posts? Go and do that. Number two, amateur profiles, when you look at the bio section, it doesn't reflect what they actually do. You see sometimes very funny names, sometimes nicknames from secondary school, right? So you have to update your bio to reflect what you actually do now as a professional. Number three, amateurs, when they make a post, most of their posts or all of their posts, they never end with what they call a call to action. Because call to actions can open conversations or drive people somewhere to buy something from you or to get more value from you. So if you're always fond of making posts and your posts don't have what they call CTAs or call to actions, you are posting like an amateur. If you study how influential people post, you will see that they always have a technical CTA within their post that can drive open conversations, open engagements, or drive you to their offer so you can be, part of what they are building. You see, so an amateur will post for posting's sake, but the professional, you post to position yourself. That's the difference. Don't just post for posting's sake. No, post for the sake of positioning. And then lastly, and I can take questions. Number eight, the eighth action you can take that will help you is let your boldness match your level of expertise. I have seen this a lot across different spaces. Let your boldness match your level of expertise. There are many people that they have done so much, but what they post on the internet, what they post on their profile does not match the real expertise they have. Many of you know what I'm talking about. You are so good at what you do, so good at what you do. You command some good level of expertise. You have produced some good level of results, but your problem is your boldness on the internet and how you post does not match your level of expertise. You know how I came to this conclusion? A few of my mentees and a few of my clients have worked with them. And look at what they're posting. Look at the people I know and said, something is missing. There's something you're not doing right. And I came to the conclusion that many people are in this dragnet. And that's why you are like, but I'm good at this. Why am I not getting paid or getting more opportunities the way I should be getting them based on my skill set? No, the problem is that your boldness and your way of posting on the internet does not match your level of expertise. So there is a major discrepancy in what you are talking about. So many of you have done the work, you have helped the people, you have gained some valuable insight and experience in your journey. Now train yourself to talk like it. And for some of you, it comes to talking also. And that reminds me, I'm planning to have a serious teaching with mentees on how to communicate influential ideas, because many of them, like I was something like I heard how a few of them was talking about. I was like, no, this does not reflect you. No, it doesn't reflect you. it doesn't reflect you at all. At all. It's not good for your brand. It's not good for your destiny. It's not good for what you're building. It's not good. For many people, this is their problem. This is their problem. They don't talk like what they have achieved. They don't talk like what they are good at. You see, if there's one thing you must be good at in this generation, is how to communicate, especially in text and video and audio, what you have achieved. Or, in other words, when you open your mouth to talk, let your voice command match your level of expertise. When you write, let what you write match your level of expertise. Unfortunately, now, there are some people that they do the other way around. They have zero or mediocre expertise, but then they have good people that they pay to write for them so well. That's why you can see many people on social media that they prefer writing a lot than doing videos, right? Because they prefer to pay ghostwriters to write the ideas for them better because they understand the power of communicating. You see, because one thing that we must all train ourselves to know how to do is learning how to communicate to influence, not communicating to inform. It's a skill. I am not just training. When I'm training, there's a way that you train yourself and begin to perfect your craft that when you are leading a session like this, you're communicating to influence a perspective, to shift a belief, to advance an idea, and to lead people to take actions that can cause a shift in what they're doing. And like I keep saying, in this perception economy, in this attention economy, the market rewards clarity much more than anything else. You see, because perception plus clarity is mind boggling. It produces a lot of result in what you are doing, right? So, if you practice these 8 things that we have shared today and challenge yourself that I have to show up online boldly after today, a lot will change in what you're building. Many of you will literally begin to double the quality of either sales, clients, partners, even career opportunities if you get this right and start doing this. All right. Now, from tomorrow, I'll be speaking based on everybody have come to that place where they have agreed that I am showing up boldly online. So from tomorrow, I am not teaching people that are timid and they are afraid. I'll be teaching from the mindset that everybody here is a go-getter. They understand the strategies and what to do to show up online boldly. So from tomorrow and for the next 30 days, I'll be focusing mainly on the strategies of mass distribution and mass commercialization in what we are doing. I can take 2 questions and then we are done. For those who are new here, this is morning school. I always have it sometimes like once a month since like 5 years ago. It started mostly with Cameroonians. That's how we meet every morning at 4 a.m. To do this. So that's why it is still 4 a.m. Cameroon time because most people in the community are from Cameroon and Nigeria and other African countries. I want to take 2 questions. 2 questions, and then we are good to go. I see a hand up here on Zoom. I would like to get a question from Facebook or YouTube. Any question? All right. Yes, Brenda Lynn, go ahead. Maybe your network You are unmuted, but I cannot hear you. Can you type your question? I cannot hear you. Is there any question before we shut down for today and come back tomorrow same time, 4 a.m. Cameroon time, 10 p.m. Central Time for those in North America, whatever time for those who are in Europe, Middle East, Australia, and so on. All right. It seems there's no question. Let me check. There's a question on YouTube. How do you merge spiritual posts with business posts? Is there a conflict of interest? Okay, I'm going to answer this question in a biased way, right? So as a believer, I always tell people that don't separate spiritual life from professional life. From when you look at the God perspective, Daniel did not have a spiritual life and then a government life. His life was one. So you can find a way to merge the two because you'll be more consistent and you will drive a unique personal brand and identity in that light. When you begin to separate, sometimes it can be draining to you and you will very soon have a conflicting brand. But I think that if you learn early on how to merge the two and advance yourself in that light, you will be able to be more effective and produce something that will stand the test of time. I hope that helps. I prefer you merge the two. Okay? All right. What can you do when you have accommodated a lot of things you have done? How can you post about them? Just start posting them one step at a time. Create a posting schedule. Create a posting schedule. Identify a posting plan if you can. You can decide that, okay, you know what? On Mondays, I'm going to post on, what can I say? On Mondays, I'm going to post on, activities in my business or my career. On Tuesday, I'm going to post about the events I've attended. On Wednesday, create a structure and just begin to post. There's nothing posting things that happened 2 years ago. I do that because sometimes I have more things to post about. I haven't had time to post about, right? But I always structure them in a way I keep them knowing that someday I'm going to make this post. Okay, so just create a plan to begin to share it consistently. If you have so many things in different areas of your life, you can break them down into days and then create a structure and consistently share it using these ideas we have shared and direct them into what you are building, and it will help you. Okay? Because the good news is you have content, so talk about it. All right? You have the content, structure it, talk about it, and it will help you. All right, people, that is it. I've gotten 2 questions, and we'll meet again here tomorrow, same time, 4 a.m. Cameroon time, and whatever time you're watching this from, convert to your local time, and definitely it will be a blessing to you. So funny enough, I totally forgot that my team was streaming on LinkedIn. Let me check the LinkedIn people. All right. Okay, Helen, I see your post. Can we schedule a virtual meeting at a time convenience to you? Yes, please send me a DM on my LinkedIn and I'll send you the link to schedule a meeting with me. Looking forward to talking with you. Thank you. All right. All right, everybody. See you tomorrow, same time, 4 a.m. GMT plus one. So for those that are watching from different countries, convert to your local time and we will happily catch up and do part two of this until we do part four. So it's a four-part teaching series I've prepared for you guys. And trust me, you will never recover from this. All right. All right, people, take care. Have a great day ahead. Cheers.